Turning now to this.
Get this, CNN actually flipped a coin, and the winner got to pick if they wanted the left or right podium. Biden won the coin toss and elected to be on the right side of the screen. That's great for all the voters who are like, I don't like what you stand for, but I like where you're standing. Yeah, Biden chose to be on the right, although chances are he'll just wander until he hits something screwed into the ground.
All right, the devil is in the details with next week's CNN presidential debate. The two candidates determining the final logistics with a coin toss. President Biden won and opted for a podium position on the right side of the stage. The president appearing confident.
Mr. President, how is debate prep going?
As for Donald Trump, well, he'll get the last word into the debate, delivering the final closing argument. Here to talk about all those intricacies and who they may benefit is Michael Smerconish. He is the host of CNN's Smerconish and a CNN political commentator. Michael, great to see you. Thanks for being here this morning. So give me the Smerconish take of how you see this debate playing out.
Manu, it's great to be with you. I think that Fox News and Donald Trump's campaign have been at cross purposes all week long. Every time they show those videos on a loop with the intention of portraying President Biden as being infirmed, all they're doing is lowering that bar. And I think these debates are all about expectations. That bar has now been set so low for President Biden that he'll probably be easily able to exceed it, much like he did in that State of the Union address.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that because we actually had played a comment from Trump earlier where he said that Biden is a worthy debater. He actually said that. He's now changing his tune. And actually, why don't you listen to what he had to say? This is what Trump had to say.
I watched him with Paul Ryan, and he destroyed Paul Ryan. So I'm not underestimating him. I assume he's going to be somebody that will be a worthy debater.
So now worthy debater?
Manu, that was a twofer for Trump because you know what he thinks of Ryan, right? So he got to both take a shot at, he got a shot at Ryan, and he also had the opportunity to try and elevate Joe Biden. But I think it's baked in. I think it's too late. They've been running that G7 video where the parachutists land, the LA fundraiser, and also the Juneteenth celebration constantly in a bid theoretically to say, we haven't edited this tape. But every time they show it, I mean, I hear from radio callers who question whether President Biden's going to be able to put sentences together because they're so used to seeing that reflection.
It's so interesting. Now, immigration, obviously, we expect to be a focus. This has been what Donald Trump's calling card has been since he came into the political scene. He has taken, of course, a very, very hardline stance on immigration. But yeah, last night, he softened a bit on the issue of green cards. Listen.
What I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card to be able to stay in this country. And that includes junior colleges, too. I know of stories where people graduated from a top college or from a college, and they desperately wanted to stay here. They had a plan for a company, a concept, and they can't. They go back to India, they go back to China. They do the same basic company in those places, and they become multi-billionaires employing thousands and thousands of people, and it could have been done here.
Now, this is a much different message than what we've been hearing from Trump for years.
I don't think you're going to hear that next Thursday night. I think instead what you'll hear from him is that President Biden just offered amnesty to 500,000 individuals who are in this country. I'm talking about the change relative to marriage that he's proposed. Each side has a great issue to drive the base. For Republicans, it's porous borders, and for Democrats, abortion rights are undefeated since Dobbs overturned Roe versus Wade. And then, of course, on top of all of it, you've got the economy.
Yeah, and I wonder, what do you think about how Biden should handle the fact that Donald Trump is a convicted felon, 34 felony counts, and whether or not this should be a central part of how he approaches Trump next week?
So it's not that I see parity between Donald Trump and Hunter Biden because one's running for president and the other is presidential offspring. Having said that, I think President Biden is probably going to be loath to use that felon word because you know what Trump's response is going to be. I'm also aware, you're aware of this reporting that suggests that President Biden and Mike Donilon still think that they ought to be talking all about January 6th and the threat to democracy. But that just hasn't stuck, Manu. That has not played well. I really think it's got to be more about the economy and what Biden can do for people rather than a relitigation of the events of January 6th.
So we also know that Donald Trump is preparing for these January 6th questions that could inevitably come up, or the attacks from Biden over everything that happened that day and Donald Trump's role in all of it. So what do you expect from Trump on that question? Does he walk back? The fact that he has increasingly been embracing things that have happened on January 6th and has said that he's pardoned all the people who have been in prison for their involvement in that riot. How would Trump deal with that? Dig in, give the red meat to the base, or walk some of that back?
Right. So it sure has worked with the base. And how do we know that? Because Donald Trump, despite one conviction, 3 outstanding indictments, is the Republican nominee and was able to get there in essentially a cakewalk. And look at the recent financial numbers that have just been produced that show that he's exceeded Joe Biden in fundraising in the last few months. That conviction has played great for him with the base. But there's that risk, of course, that independents and suburbanites that he really needs to reach aren't going to look at it the same way that the very red state voters will.
Yeah. All right. So much to process in the week ahead. It's going to be a huge, huge night. Michael Smerconish, appreciate your insight
Manu,
as always.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Don't forget to tune in tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to Smerconish right here on CNN.